Hello, friends! In this episode, we'll discuss the process of taking care of the jars while the plants grow inside them. Where is the best place to keep them? How much light do they need? Is a special greenhouse required for growing them? How long should the plants remain inside the jar? Professional nurseries that create and cultivate their own hybrids must operate with high predictability and productivity to ensure the fastest possible development of as many plants as possible. Growers cultivate their jars in a controlled environment with optimized temperature and light. Commercial production requires great care and a predictable yield, so a well-equipped laboratory is essential. LED technology has greatly reduced the cost and energy consumption of the lights used for growing plants. This makes it possible for amateurs to create their own smaller version of a cultivation area without spending a lot of money. We can learn from our friend Guilherme Griani, a horticulturist at the Orquidário Rio Pardo, who has created a small cultivation area for his seeds and seedlings in flasks.
How are you, my friend? Hello, everyone. As you can see, I'm using a common metal bookcase with 6 shelves each. I have installed 2 LED lights on top of each shelf. They are all interconnected in a parallel circuit. Since the room gets a little bit of natural light, I keep only one of the 2 bulbs on. That is for energy saving. The lights are all connected to a timer, which is set for a 12 by 12 period. It turns on all lights at 6 in the morning and shuts them off by 6 in the afternoon. The recommendation is something between 12 to 14 hours of light per day. Here you have a better close-up of the lights and connections, under which you see the jars and seedlings. This is it, as simple as that.
Thank you, Guilherme, for sharing that with us. On his channel, Maravilhoso Mundo das Orquídeas, you can learn how to assemble this setup. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as it provides a plethora of useful information. You can find the link in the description below. However, many of us might prefer a more natural method, using sunlight. This is what I usually do since my goal is to always present the simplest and most affordable approach. There are advantages and disadvantages when you grow your seedlings under natural light. One of the advantages is price. Sunlight is free, right? Another advantage is that it poses no demands on the energy grid, and nature will thank you for that. Also, since we're growing them under natural light, they will be much better adapted to the conditions they will find once we take them off the jars. One of the disadvantages is that we're going to have to try and find a place in the house with good and appropriate lighting that we have not yet filled up with orchids. Another disadvantage is that when you grow your plants under natural light, they will be subject to seasonal variation, so they will probably grow faster in spring than it will during winter. When you have that under controlled lights, you can make every day springtime. Our seedlings will be a little more sensitive to deflasking in the wrong season. We'll have to pick up the right time of the year so that we can take them out of the jars, usually around spring and summer. The amount of time it's going to take before the plants grow big enough for you to take them out of the jars can vary a lot according to species, to the media you're using, to the lighting it's getting, and it can be somewhere between 1 or 2 years before you can deflask them. I used whatever I had at hand to make these makeshift shelves so that I can use the very good quality lighting that I have here in the porch. It is a brightly illuminated area that gets only indirect light most of the year. In winter, at the very end of the day, when the light's already low, it gets a little bit of direct light. But that's just for 20 to 30 minutes, and it's even good for the little plants. Don't forget, you'll have to grow your seedlings in the jar for more than a year, sometimes two, and lighting conditions change as the seasons do. So some spots in your house will be great during one season, but maybe too light or too dark in the opposite season. These two small Percivalianas spent 2 years growing in their jars in this very place before I finally deflasked them. On the west-facing side of the house, I have a row of areca palm trees. They help regulate the light that gets to the windows on this side. It became a very good place to grow the seedlings after their first replating. Anyhow, this is a very limited setup, and it's good only for a very small amount of jars. As soon as I start reflasking from my latest crossings, I will need much more space than this. And if you're with us all the way to this point, make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps us so much. In the next episode, we'll compare the home and mature setup and the very expensive equipment of the professionals.